right, welcome to today's vodka and juice boxes. The play date where the only thing these girls are spilling is their secrets. So sit back, grab a cocktail, enjoy today's confession session with our young moms and their pals. Here they are, your sister hosts. We've missed them in the studio, Amanda and Juliet.
Hello.
Hey. Thanks for having us back, Paul. It's been way too long.
Way too long.
Yes, we won't go in why. You all know. Just
We weren't organized, and
No.
then stuff happened. Lots of stuff happened.
Life,
babies,
everything.
babysitters.
So we're going to start off this new chapter of Vodka and Juice Boxes with a pretty intense, powerful, and life-changing topic, postpartum depression. So we have in studio our special guests, Heather and Jessica, who are going to take the first half of the radio show.
Hello.
There they are, to tell their stories, and then Amanda and I have a ton of questions. So before we even start, before we talk about our cocktail, we want everybody to know, Amanda, you can chime in on this, we are not professionals in this field whatsoever. What we're sharing is our own personal experiences. What happened, why it happened, we have no idea. We did put a link on our website, postpartum.net, that has some really great information about it. So if you want to learn more about the stats and more like scientific backgrounds, you can. But in this studio today, we are sharing our own personal journeys. So Amanda, what are we drinking?
Hi. I found a recipe on
That's the way you started showing postpartum depression.
Hi there.
Pinterest. So it is a lavender pear lemonade with vodka. So I boiled, I think 16 stalks of a lavender with a cup and a half of water and a cup and a half of sugar. For my simple syrup, I did 3/4 an ounce, 2 ounces of vodka, 2 ounces of pear juice that I got from Sprouts, 2 ounces of pure lemon juice I got from Sprouts as well, dash of salt, shake, 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 and ta-da.
And it's amazing. Ladies,
It is.
what do
It's
you
delicious.
think?
It's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good.
Splendid.
Amazing. So can we just cheers real quick before we
Cheers.
get started?
Let me just take this like a shot real fast.
I know. I'm like not a day drinker, but
There it
a
is.
fan.
Day drink's the only time to do it.
All right, ladies, we're going to go ahead and pass the mics right over to you. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself, just because for listeners who are new and who cannot see video, we want to make sure they can know who's who with their voices.
And wave
I have shitty
as
posture?
you come on here.
That's what I'm trying to fix.
Damn it. I always have bad
Awesome.
posture.
Okay, so why don't you two go ahead?
All right. My name is Heather Brinkerhoff.
You got to wave to the
Hi,
audience. You got to wave.
hello.
There we go.
And I am a first-time mom. I have a daughter named Charlie. She's 16 months. A husband, Brian. I'm a brewery tasting room manager. And,
What brewery?
oh, I don't know if I can.
Oh, you're not
I
allowed
should
to say.
Well, it's in Anaheim. It's
We'll tell you.
very popular.
You should say it, and
by
then they'll
Angels-
sponsor the show. They'll have to sponsor the show.
Maybe so.
Oh, that'd be
Noble
cool.
Ale Works. Noble Ale Works is where I work.
Oh,
but Again, I
awesome.
should say all of this is none of their opinion.
Absolutely.
None of their
yes.
views. This is all my personal experience.
thank
but
you
they're
for that.
awesome with supporting me, so I should say.
That's really great. And also in the studio,
Our Jessica.
Hey,
Hey.
me again, Jessica, mom of 4, stepmom to 2. That's 6, and yeah, that's it. I stay at home, and I'm a nanny.
Oh God, you're so crazy. I couldn't. You have the most children of everybody, and then you're like, wants a couple more. Like that's so crazy to me. Ever. My sister, I have watched her kids probably 3 times. They're like the easy kids too. So it's just so bizarre to me how people like widen their load freely. Like
Yeah,
my mom had 5 kids, and her whole life is like she's a preschool teacher.
I'll
I'm like,
take
why
on
would
30
you do
more.
that?
Yeah,
Let's
getting
do
ready
it.
today was like everybody staring at me. I have a bubble in my throat.
Oh my gosh, I love
Get
it.
out of here.
All right. Okay, Heather, why don't you go ahead and start us off and share your story, and then you guys
And
just
then we're
do
going to
your
hear
thing.
from Jessica, and then we're going to have Amanda and Juliet questions.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so I again have my first daughter, and my family. I'm originally from Nebraska, so my mom, my sisters, all of my extended family is all over there. I came out here when I was 17. I'm 31 now, and to go to school for singing and dancing, and ended up settling in Old Town Orange. Met my husband. We dated shortly. I got pregnant. During the pregnancy, I obviously was ecstatic. I had always wanted children, and I had a great husband, great support system. He had a great family. But it was hard during the pregnancy, being so far away from my family and my sisters, and feeling like only one of my friends, Amanda, had children. So she was the only one who would really keep it real with me. So I felt like I should be this prancing through the daisies, pregnant, wearing white linens, and
That's
you
still
know,
my dream.
Yeah, like a man.
That's still my dream. I'm like, that sounds fun.
and I did have moments of that. I did definitely have moments of that, but also I was still working in a brewery, which is a male-driven industry. So when you're pregnant, you're meant to be softer. You're meant to be
Oh my God!
cute,
and
and
IPA beer is so strong for you to be pregnant, working in that
the
environment.
smells were
Oh my God, I
pretty
would have
intense.
probably have died.
That
I
is
didn't
for
even
sure.
think about that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
smells and
The
being
smell
on my
of
feet
IPA beer is like,
and- Yeah, I definitely had no problem not drinking while I was pregnant, which I wondered beforehand, but I had no problem. Even like I would want a glass of wine just to feel like I was one of
Yeah.
everyone, but I would never touch it. But yeah, so working there, that was a little bit difficult as far as identity. You work so hard in your life to gain a certain
Yes.
sense of identity, individuality, and so I was just coming to terms with that. So fast forward to having my daughter, and I ended up having a C-section, and unfortunately, my family being so far away, they had to make the choice: do we want to be there for your last minute labor when it could happen at any time, or do we want to wait to come after? So we chose to have them come after. I had no idea.
How much
This
you would
is
need
just
them.
me personally. Yeah, I had no idea how alone I would feel. People have knee surgery, back surgery, their molars out, and everyone is so concerned for them, and everyone asks them how they
you
were.
feeling?
I felt like having a baby, it was just kind of like, this is what we do. Get on the bed, get your IVs. I felt really pushed around and just like objectified to
Cattle.
where no one mentioned to me during or I should say my doctor, which I realized after this time, I really wish someone would have encouraged me to go with my needs. And I needed someone to ask me how I was doing. He was just really making sure everything was
Technically okay.
fine,
Yeah.
but no one ever asked me in my entire pregnancy, like, how are you feeling mentally? And I think that would have been a big turning point. So
I totally agree. That was one thing I was going to mention.
Yeah.
Nobody ever says to you, just so you know, after this, you might feel like you're going to die. Like your
Yeah.
brain's going to come out and
Yeah.
you're going to lose all senses, and just enjoy it. Enjoy the baby. Okay.
yeah.
Nobody tells you that part.
Or even I don't remember them even asking, well, on the questionnaire, I did mark that I have had past of depression, past anxiety, and it was never questioned after that, which I feel like that should be a part of practitioners' practice.
Yes.
Bedside manner, because it isn't just a physical process. It's an emotional, mental, spiritual process. So
Somebody tweeted in wants to know if it was a female or a male doctor, and would that make a difference?
it was a male doctor, and to be honest with you, I was almost going against my intuition because I thought I need to be strong. I am a manager at my work. I have to be tough. I've always been tough my whole life. I can deal with a male doctor. I can deal with someone who's cut and dry, and that's exactly how he was. And he was the best doctor in Newport Beach, but if anything, he stunted my growth. He stunted my experience 100%. And he was really like, let's get the money, let's get the baby out.
Yeah.
See you later.
Well, he
And-
does this every day,
Yeah.
Well, and just
but
to
this is
chime,
my one-time
Oh, yeah, of
experience,
course,
so I
they don't
felt
see it that way.
very yeah.
to chime in before, it's not just it's pertinent for this moment. Was this like, did that feeling happen instantly the baby came out, or was it leading up and then pregnancy and then the baby came? Like, just when did that initial feeling set in for you personally?
She was saying when they were hooking up to the hospital, right?
Yeah, when I had gotten to the hospital and we decided C-section, the baby had decreased movement, so we got to do this. I felt instantly when no one was listening to me.
Gotcha.
I was telling the nurse, like, where's my husband? He's getting changed. His family is in California. They're very involved. To not have my family there and to
Right.
have this as the duality was really overwhelming. I felt like no one was listening to me. No
Okay.
one was like, So it kicked in then, and it
Mm-hmm.
really kicked in after we got settled in our room.
Okay.
To where I think because I just felt so alone. Like no one ever mentioned yes, you're pregnant in front of everyone, but at the end of the day, it is you
Right.
solely going through this.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
And no one mentions that. No one mentions, yes, you can have all the support in the world. And I knew my family from far away was supporting me and thinking of me and loving me, but I felt extremely sad, really, as soon as I got in the room, unfortunately. And I would never wish it on anyone.
Right.
And then once we got home, at first I would just wake up and I have this beautiful house. I have this supportive husband. I have supportive family on both sides. But I feel like overwhelmed completely and like I'm overstimulated. I felt really overstimulated, and I felt really like no one could understand me, I suppose, which, everyone can try in their own ways. But then after that was when I started seeking, because I've been through depression in the past. And the only thing that saved me at that point was my mother's a social worker, so she's very smart when it comes to being in touch with your emotions and expressing those. So I talked a lot with her. I talked with my friends. After I put aside being so ashamed of, like, I'm always the positive one. Heather's the
Right.
one that has the aromatherapy and
Right,
sage
right.
and a singer, and
You
she's
do always smoke weed.
So after I put that aside and just was honest with people, it was really vulnerable, but that was vulnerability that I had control of. I felt like when I was right out of having a C-section,
Right.
people just walk in the room, you're nursing, no one, any other time, people would ask if you have your shirt off in a room.
Right.
But apparently after the most vulnerable time of my life, no one cared to ask.
See, that's
How would you
interesting.
feel
'cause
about
I kind of
this?
like that.
It is
I
so weird
seriously
because I'm
like
the
that.
most modest person ever. Like, I won't change in front of you. You cannot walk into a
Me
room and
neither.
be like,
I'm the same way.
Oh man.
like, I won't do it. But then
Amanda's
in the
sad.
hospital, I was like, check me out,
Oh, no.
See,
clean me, bathe me.
Yes, that's how I was.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
I
like
was.
that to my nurse, but then I felt like there was certain amount of, I guess, just to be honest, like certain amount of family
Yeah.
that expects a certain amount of ownership
I
to
think you
that
needed a
skin
safe
and
It sounds
your
zone.
like
body,
Yes.
and
you
like,
were
that
feeling
was
out of control.
Yes.
And it just continued to feel out of
Yes.
control, out of control, out of control.
Definitely. So then I started listening to podcasts, to be honest. I listened to one called Mom and Mind, and that changed my whole experience because it was a doctor, a psychologist talking about postpartum and different people that were ecstatic and had no problems to people who were in psychosis. So it was good to see that. I listened to Newbies, which was for new moms. I didn't have my sisters there to talk about
Yeah.
breastfeeding and the pressure of that or all of the other pressures that come along with it. Positive Psychology podcast. I started doing affirmations, really just waking
yeah, you
up
said
every
that helped
day.
a lot.
That helped a lot.
Can you explain what affirmations are?
Yeah, they're stating something as an intention and really focusing and moving forward with that. So I had a friend, Melissa, a long time ago who I was heartbroken, and she said to me, you get up in the morning. Can we curse on here? Or should I not?
Absolutely,
Okay.
you can.
You get up in the morning. I was all heartbroken over a really trashy dude. So she was like, you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you say, you are a badass bitch and the shit is not going to phase you. And you
Hell
just start your day
yeah.
like that. So I would every day, for about a year. And it
Yeah.
would make me laugh towards the end. And then I just started doing that after having Charlie. I would just get up and be like, no amount of darkness is going to get in today. I got this. I have the strength. I have friends to support me. I have family to support me.
It
Yes,
seriously
yes, yes.
helps.
Like,
It seriously
changing.
helps. Like
Yeah.
I think everything that I ever feel, it's all mental. And if you could start there, if you could change the way that you think, it'll change the way you feel, and everything starts from there. So I hear you on there.
Yeah, so that really worked a lot. I started doing intentional things is kind of how I've dealt with it in the past, so I really reached for that as far as like aromatherapy, me taking a shower, me intentionally having nice smelling oils, having candles, having lights, having things that, taking time for myself. A big thing also was recently yoga and sound therapy.
Sound therapy, what's that?
Sound bath. It's big crystal
Oh.
quartz sound bowls.
Oh yes. I
And
love
each
those.
of them are tuned to a different chakra in your body. And, you know, again, anything that I stand behind, it's because I've experienced it. For better or worse, I'm one of those people that I have to do it myself,
Right.
maybe 5 times over in order to feel confident in it. I can't just take people's advice. So this, it gets into your parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. So
My sister just did that, and she raved about it.
it's really amazing because it's all about the resistance, you know, finally being submissive to the resistance of things that are going on. No,
Somebody else tweeted they're still not clear. I'm not clear what it is. I've never seen. There's a bowl and it has some crystals in it or something.
no, it's actually a big bowl made of a crystal.
Oh, made
so
of
it's,
Is it
crystal.
crystal
yeah,
quartz,
made
right?
of crystal quartz, and they're all attuned. Every chakra in your body has a different note or key, they should say, to where it's as a sound bath, it submerses you.
So do you strike it or touch it or something and it starts
You
to
have
vibrate?
a mallet that you rub on the inside that has
Oh.
felt on it, and each of them, they do,
kinda
professionals do it in a
echoes.
different.
And it starts
yeah.
to
like with
vibrate.
the glass.
Yeah,
Have
starts
you
to
seen the
vibrate.
trick where you wet your finger
Yeah.
and then you
Yeah,
do
yeah,
the
yeah.
edge? That's what the kind of similar
Yeah.
sound, similar
And
notion.
if you get the right tune, it will shake your entire house.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and so that's where I feel like as a parent, especially having only one, crying all day, then I go
Yeah.
to work, like there's stimulation all day. So this is a way to permeate not only your sympathetic nervous system, this is all your fight and flight stuff, which is I feel like that all tied into my
Yes.
depression as well. My fight or flight button was just constantly hitting on
Oh,
flight.
yeah.
Hurry,
I still
hurry,
have
get
that.
out, everything.
That is a
you
perfect
know?
analogy.
So this really helped.
Being
where-
forced to
yeah.
stay somewhere that you feel that you want to run from
Yes.
or save yourself from, but this is your job
Yes.
and you have to stay here. So you're
Yeah.
completely out of control
Yeah.
and you're tied down and you can't save yourself at all.
Mhm. It's
And
almost-
nobody wants to save you either. So
Right.
Because no one knows how. I'm sure they
Yeah.
just see us, popping along. You're positive.
like you're bobbing in water
Mhm.
asking for a lifeline and everyone's
Mhm.
like, we gave you everything. I don't know what else you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like,
It's a way to. As I was putting my daughter down for a nap this morning, it's almost like the adult shh
Okay.
yeah.
that you
That's
do
what-
to a baby. You pat their butt and you shush them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a way of like thoughts come up and the sound is like shh.
How often
Yeah.
do you
Chill
do your
out.
bowl?
Well, I've
the
only
tuning?
recently honestly done it one time since I had her. But
Okay.
that was a big part of my self-work and self-practice for years before. But because I then was like, oh, I have to work. I have to clean the house. I have to be
Yes.
the wife.
Mhm.
I stopped doing that. So just recently I went to my friend's place in LA. She's got great roommates. One of them is a yoga instructor. One of them does sound healing, girlfriends, and it was wonderful. It was really wonderful. So there's a lot of different things that, aside from that helped me feel like I could relate to other people, which then made me know that I had to be more honest because it
Yes.
just took a few honest people for me to say, I'm not crazy. I'm not, this doesn't make me a bad person or a bad mom. I never wanted to harm my daughter. I never wanted to
You never had
not have
self-doubt.
her.
But if you do feel that
Or
way,
her
you're
doubt.
also not alone because there are
Yes.
very many moms who go through postpartum that do feel like they're resentful to their child. Just to interrupt
Yes.
you and let you know if there's any
Yes.
listeners out there
No,
that are feeling those
absolutely.
feelings,
Yes.
And that's
you're
what-
not alone. There are
It's
other
not
people.
wrong.
There's help for you too. So
Mhm.
Well, and that's
there's
what
like a bunch
that-
of different kinds of postpartum.
And that's actually what I
Absolutely,
wanted to ask
absolutely.
both of you as you share your story. Heather, if you can tell me what a day was like for you emotionally, and I want to hear from Jessica what your typical day was like for you when you were battling with these emotions, like you said, because both of you guys are going to have different feelings, and we don't want people to feel alone.
So before we delve into that, let's take a little commercial break because that's going to be sounds like a heavy session here. So let's everybody take a deep breath, say shush together. Shh.
And pat my butt too.
This is
Come
for
on.
my butt.
That's right.
I love that. Pat the puss.
Right.
Get out of here.
Right back after this.
That was great.
Imagine what it would feel like to lose everything. Your job, your home, your family, your dignity. This has happened to thousands of the men, women, veterans, and young adults we serve at Working Wardrobes. What do we do to help? We provide career development services, life skills workshops, job skills training. We provide the perfect interview outfit, and we get clients placed in jobs. Call Working Wardrobes, 714-210-2460. Donate, volunteer, invest, hire.
All right, and today's show has been brought to you by J-Dub Design, socially designing what you dream.
Right.
Everyone has an idea of how they want their brand to look and feel and how they want to communicate to their community, whether an idea is presented on a napkin, through pins on Pinterest, or by girls talking in the back while I'm trying to read the commercial. No matter how your message is conveyed, simply talking it out with someone, your vision, your dream can become a reality. That's what they do at J-Dub Design, utilizing the most popular trends online and the latest programs for design that help you build, create, and sustain your digital community.
I wrote that shit.
Shh. Another time to say shh. All right, I just have to say, that's the most honest and open I've heard anybody describe this process. I read about it. I'm a guy. I don't know. I think my daughter went through it, but she couldn't describe it or didn't want to talk about it. I'd love to hear about that part. I know you have other things you want to talk about, but the fact that you can't just stand up and say, wait a minute, I feel out of control. Wait a minute, I'm in charge here. I'm not an assembly line, and I'm feeling something, and I don't know what to do about it.
Yep.
I think a lot of it is shame.
Yep.
Shame. And I've mentioned this. With every single subject we talk on, I will always resort back to social media, and that's why I've tried to my hardest. Being honest with people is a difficult thing for me.
It sets you free, doesn't it?
And now I'm just starting to be like,
does.
you know what? I really fucked shit up today. Like,
Yeah.
I failed, and I'm going to tell all you guys
cares?
about it. And
I feel better about it
Yes.
after.
And I feel like as long as we are out there telling everyone, like, whatever you're going through, we went there, or we went through it. We cried your tears.
Uh-huh.
We were in a ball one day too. Like, we've all done that. And you need to be able to feel like you're not alone, and you could speak up and reach out to people and say, I'm at rock bottom.
Yep.
I want to die. I want to whatever. I hurt my baby. I want to whatever anybody's going through, they need to be able to be free enough to tell people. Because when they don't feel free is when we watch the news and we say, oh my God, that happy girl just killed herself with a 2-month-old baby. How'd that happen?
There's a stigma that scares
Well, she's
everyone
been
from
asking for
speaking up.
help for 2 months.
Yeah.
But we're in the second decade of the 21st century. Why is this
You have to be
still
perfect.
something we got to talk about? Is that why you got to be perfect?
Oh,
Social
especially
media.
with social media.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Well, and it's, I think, a generational thing of you're so lucky to be having a baby.
Oh, I'm
some
so
people
tired
can't
of
have
that.
a
I am
baby,
too.
I
which I
understand
respect
I'm
and I
lucky,
have a
trust
heart
me.
for. Yeah.
It doesn't mean I'm not allowed to feel anything else. Like
when I would be
Yeah.
bummed about having boys, they'd be like, just be happy you have a child. And I'm like, I am happy, but I wanted a vagina, okay?
Yes. Yeah.
I loved when you were pregnant with Sawyer, and she would tell me that at that point where everyone would be like, what are you having? And she's like, doesn't even matter. A baby, okay?
Well, on that, that's a great segue into your story, Jessica. I really want to hear, and so do our listeners, want to hear about your experience with postpartum.
Okay.
And then from there,
I'm already starting to cry. All right.
no, take your time.
Okay.
And was it with you had several children? Was it through
No,
all the
my
children?
first
or?
2 children, I was very disconnected with my firstborn son when I came to being pregnant. I thought it was weird. I was 24. I was just coming out of being a party girl. And everyone's like, the ultrasound pictures. And I'm like, it looks like a fucking alien. I don't want to frame that. That's stupid. Like, I didn't want anything to do with it. But then my son was born, and I was like, this is my heart. This is my soul. This is, like, everything. It was magical for me. I instantly was connected. I didn't feel any postpartum. I didn't feel any baby blues. My second son, 4 years later, the same thing. The best feeling to me is when they handed over that baby to me. And the fact that being somebody who's like a hypochondriac, when it comes to delivering babies, I am like a champ. Sorry to toot my own horn. But I'm like, your body will do what you need to do. And I would just get in there and just like do it. 15-minute deliveries. So I was like so overly confident. Like, I got this mom thing.
Right.
Nothing can faze me. Look at have my babies. My body bounces back. Like, third baby, let's do this. Third baby, have my baby, I'm chilling, like another 15-minute delivery, everything's perfect. 9 days later, I hemorrhage at home. I wake up and I'm completely covered in blood. I have lost so much blood, they want to do a blood transfusion. I go into an emergency surgery, you know, I take the ambulance, everything. That clicks with an anxiety that
Past trauma.
yeah,
comes
that I
up.
am going to die at home with my children and nobody's going to help me. I don't know why I'm getting so upset. So, can I have one of those?
I was like, Amanda's taking it for herself.
Cardi B.
I thought that maybe it would set it off if I gave it to her right away.
So yeah, that when I came home from that, and then my husband had to still go back to work, and I'm like, wait a second, everybody, I almost died. I just had a baby. I have 2 kids. I have 2 stepkids, a newborn. I just almost bled out, and I had to go back to normal life. Like, I have to take them to school and pick them up, and I have to do all this, and nobody's going to help me. And
You're
nobody.
supposed to. You're supposed
So I just went into it.
Yeah.
And I just kept going and going. And I remember the click of that I had postpartum is because I didn't have postpartum anxiety. I actually have I didn't have postpartum depression. I have postpartum anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm doing the dishes after dinner and I gave the kids a bath and I'm standing there and all of a sudden my heart was like a million miles an hour. And I'm thinking, this is it. Dude, I'm going down. This is a heart attack for sure. And I'm pacing back and forth. My next door neighbor is an FBI agent, and I like debated on a long time to be like, help. So I go running over to his house, and I'm like, here she goes. Like, this is it. I'm falling like a tree that's been cut down. And he calls 911. The firefighters come in, and they're like, you don't have to get it all done in one day.
Oh.
And
Thanks, that's what they told you?
That's what they told me.
Firefighters said that?
Cry.
I did start crying, and I was
It's
like,
so true, though.
they hooked me up, and then they're like, you're having a panic attack. Like, you need to
Yes.
relax. But as a mom, like you were saying, you're like, I got to wake up after not sleeping. I have to feed the baby. I have to change the baby. I have to dress the baby. I have to bathe the baby. I have to take the kids to school. I have to do this. I have to go grocery shopping. I have to cook lunch, dinner. I have to do all these things. And in your mind, you're never calming down. And so I would completely just freak myself out. And then one day, it left. So I have my 4th child, handle like a champ. And then I was starting to have anxiety. I'm going to hemorrhage again. And the doctor said, if you hemorrhage, you're going to be the most unlucky person in the world. And I said, you don't know what I've been through.
I've been feeling like that, so.
The 9th day, same exact as the other time, I hear a,
No.
and that's what happens is like a plug or something, and it just starts going. And I look at my husband and I say, call 911. He takes
Again?
his phone at home, and I'm hemorrhaging. So mind you, it's like a faucet that's been turned on. You don't stop. It just starts flowing and
Oh,
flowing.
my God.
And he's scrolling. And I'm like, what are you scrolling for? 911. So anyways, I go through all that. I come back home again after staying in the hospital. And the anxiety was 100 times worse than after Sawyer. It was a complete psychosis. I called the back of my insurance card. I went to the doctor about 2 times a week saying, I'm going to die. Like, I am for sure going to
Why
die.
do you feel like you're going to die?
Because that's where my fear sets in. Because I hemorrhaged, and because like I have
Right.
my
You
brothers who
so-
died, I have
Yeah.
so much death in my life. That is my trigger for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thinking that I have all this to do and nobody to help me,
Right.
and then I'm gonna die, and my kids are gonna be in the home with me while I'm dead, and like,
Oh,
so I would be
my-
like
yeah.
trying to teach them how to
Yeah.
dial 911.
All of those hot
Yes.
buttons that you hid in
Yeah.
your childhood and
They
your
just-
adolescence, no one ever mentioned.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes.
hey, those will come up because
Like,
this
do
is the
you
next
have anxiety?
biggest thing
Right.
that's
Yeah.
happened in
Yes.
your life.
You're
so
right. You're talking about
those
triggers
panic
right there.
buttons
Yes.
will come up.
And I kept
Ugh.
going to the doctors, and they would say it's postpartum. Have a Prozac, and I'd say, I don't have depression. I have anxiety. Well, if you take this Prozac, if you take this Zoloft, if you take this, and I was prescribed 5 different medications, and they said to me, Jessica, you have to take the pills. And I said, no, it's part of my anxiety. I won't take your medication because if I take it, I'm going to die. And they're like, you need to take it. And so that's when I went to like a full, like, one day I was curled up in a ball on my couch, always calling my mom saying, like, you know, crying, hysterical, I'm going to die. I can't take care of these kids. They're all here. They all need me. I can't even get up. I can't drive anywhere because if I drive somewhere, I have a panic attack. And then literally I woke up and it was fucking gone after 5 months.
Crazy.
But through that 5 months, I had learned to do this to myself. And what you said really set in. It's like the self-healing. I would say, you're okay. You're at peace. You are strong. And I would just say it over and over and over again. You're at peace. You are strong. You're okay.
Yeah.
And I would just say those words over and over until I could bring my mind back down, because all the medication they could give me wasn't ever going to fix what was going on with me, which was a strong fear of
If
something.
anything, it's like a numbing.
Yes, and it just changes.
It's
to
I
different
tried medication for the record as well. I tried white pills. I don't know how.
I tried white. They were
I don't
white.
know how.
I don't know what they were.
Well, I don't know how like liberal this.
We say
say whatever the fuck you
everything.
want.
This is
Xanax?
California, so medical marijuana is legal.
That's
and
the only
to
thing that helped me.
to smoke in the
Yeah.
morning and smoke at night.
Yep.
I'm not like lighting it up with my daughter, but I'm sorry to anyone that may offend or shock.
Oh,
but
don't be sorry if it
for
saved
me-
you.
Yeah, haters
It-
keep scrolling. That's all I say.
it didn't block out everything. If anything, it gave me that space to go.
Yeah.
breathe. It
can-
gave you a moment
it's
to breathe.
It's a scheduled deep breath, really,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
happening. And also with finding now, you can have an indica sativa. You can have things that calm anxiety. You can things that calm.
It was
have things that calm
CBD. Everyone kept
depression.
telling me, you don't want the pills. Why don't you try the CBD? And I'm telling you, no, I don't want to take anything. Like, I was just like freaking out on everybody. Stop
Yeah.
trying to shove
Yeah.
things down my throat. Sometimes I couldn't even leave the house unless I actually did take a Xanax. So I would have to do that. Like her
Right.
Valentine's party, I'm like, okay, I took it. I'm going to go to the Krispy Kreme. I'm going to get your donuts, and I'm going to come to the party. Like, here we go. Here we go. I'm
Yeah.
going to be
Whatever
strong.
you
We're
have
going to do this.
do.
And the CBD, I tried it, and I was like, wait a second. This is delightful.
Yeah.
Like, I feel calm.
So it's a pill, or is you
The
smoke?
CBD oil, is that what you're
you
talking
can do
about?
the oil, and you can drop
Julia
it in your
has the
mouth.
oil.
Yeah, I do the oil.
You could vape it. I actually prefer to vape it.
Oh, you vape it. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
I did CBD oil only a couple times, but my girlfriends that sell it say you have to take it for at least a month, at least.
It's just
For-
like any medication for your body to
Okay,
get
okay.
acclimated to.
So then maybe I should
Yeah.
try that because
Yeah.
I get very, very fucking frazzled very fast.
Yeah,
Very
I think that would
fast.
help.
And it happens in the morning, and that will determine if this is going to be a good day or a
Yeah.
bad day.
I would.
And Brian will call me in the morning, and he'll be like, "How is everybody?" And
Yeah.
I say, "Shut up, Brian."
so so one thing that I'm hearing that's kind of a common ground between both of your stories, as different as they are but as similar as they are, is that these positive affirmations.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's
Sounds
true, it
like it's a
helps.
really
Yeah.
great common ground. And changing your perspective on anything, right? For an example, you get in a car accident and you survive, and you can look at it and say, you can be really angry and be like, I got in a car accident, it ruined my day and everything. Or you change your perspective and you say,
Thank God
thank God I made it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have insurance.
It really does have everything to do. And I'm speaking from
Yeah.
experience. This is something I have to work on. It has everything to do with your mind, your mental health. It's so
Yeah.
important. It's so important, but I don't know,
Mind
man.
over
so,
matter. Mind
so
over
the majority
matter.
of your anxiety stems from the fact that you might not make it and that you have these people to take care of. Is that what that was for
Yeah,
you
and
mostly?
immediately when you said that, I start to cry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I wanted
So
to make
I
sure.
did have PTSD when I was
Right.
I felt like that after
17
Waylon.
after my brother died.
Right.
So that's another thing. Nobody
a
ever
trigger.
asked me
Oh,
Exactly.
dude, losing
Or
someone is
told
nuts.
me anything
Yeah.
that would happen.
Yeah.
And then when it started happening, everyone's like, it's the baby blues. It's just the baby blues. And I'm like, I love my
No.
kids. My
Yeah.
fear is leaving them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, oh
So
my God,
that's
I'm
like
going to
that becomes
die.
that's the thing
crippling.
what people don't understand.
And that's actually something that I can relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the first
Juliet
time
wouldn't let Aaron leave the hospital.
No,
after her
he wasn't
babies were
allowed
born.
to. After my whole fear after being pregnant was, great, now I have something to lose. Instantly, I could not enjoy the pregnancy. When I first had my baby and we were in the hotel, I'm like, you're not going to leave and get in a car accident like freaking
And leave you with these freaking kids, Bobby.
Downton Abbey. Don't leave me with these freaking kids. I'm like, you're going to stay next to me because now I have something even more to lose. And
Yeah.
it started to become crippling for me.
It is
and
crippling.
for the first couple months too, I didn't want to go out anywhere because I'm just like, no, we're all gonna be safe.
I
and-
started sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt
No,
you. I
please
started
do.
because I was raised by a single mother. I started like and my husband's probably listening. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
I started like instant damage control. Like my fight or flight was just constantly,
Yes.
if I could say anything, it was just like boom, 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 boom. Like the light was going off at all times. So I'd be like, okay, well, if anything goes wrong with us, I can just do this. I can just, here's where we're going to live,
I was
my
just
family.
saying, oh my
like,
gosh,
I would
yes.
just resort to my most traumatic
Yeah, it's crazy.
experience and fear.
It seems like it's stemming
And
from
then-
all
I
of our fears.
created though huge ordeals from that because I would like wake up in the middle of the night with these anxiety or panic attacks. I'd have to wake my husband up. I'd set his day off bad,
Right.
and then I'd be like, "Oh my God, you hate me! Oh my God, you
None of
I'm,
us slept.
You know, and I'm
The
like, I'm
baby's up.
ruining your life. I'm ruining everything.
Oh my God! So I have pockets of that. I have pockets of that where I'm like, I really fucking hope Brian doesn't think that he chose the wrong partner because
Yeah.
I'm incapable or unable or I'm
Yes.
not
Yeah.
stable enough. Like I hate that.
So the immediate reaction is like, "Fuck you."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I automatically hate him, and in the
Yes.
in the whole time he's
Same.
like, what? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because no one gave me a little key reference, which, you know, I'm giving everyone a key reference. Maybe this won't affect you at all. Maybe it will, but like it affected my sexuality, my femininity,
Yes.
My femininity.
my sense of safe space,
Yeah.
my contemplation of what a father should be like, what a mother should be like. We all come from such different
Right.
Yes.
So
makeups of all of
Ideas.
that.
Well, I want to ask both of you girls, like, when was there that moment? I know Heather, you kind of touched Amanda's spilling vodka. How dare you?
Oh, she's
There's Heather, you told
We're
us.
not going to let you back in.
I
Nick.
know.
liar.
Heather, you told us there was that because you did have some past depression, so you kind of knew some of the signs. But for the women out there, like for me, I didn't know if I was really experiencing anything or what baby
I
blues
still
was.
don't know what I felt.
Exactly. I do remember a time with Malachi, not with Ezekiel. Things were totally fine with Ezekiel, but Malachi, after having him, I held him in my arms and I looked at him and I started crying and be like, I don't even know you.
Yeah, that's normal.
Get outta
And
here.
seriously, and I just looked at him and I'm just like, I'm supposed to love him unconditionally, but I really love Ezekiel, but I don't know if I love this baby in my arms right now. And I just started crying. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. First of all, that should be a red flag. Why didn't I call anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a red flag? Isn't? I don't know. Is there anything you guys can touch on that?
I think I wasn't even going to tear up. I'm just tearing up. I'm not going to cry. But, or maybe
You're
if I
allowed
cry,
to,
that's totally fine.
please. Yeah.
I think you said something earlier, like when they handed your baby to you.
I didn't feel
I
that.
haven't really
It was like a
thought
high.
of that. I haven't thought of what was my feeling, because reflection has so much to do with
Right.
healing. So, and
I felt it with Waylon, not with Bowie.
I felt when they handed me Charlie, like, okay, we can do this.
Oh,
And I felt really alone.
yeah.
I felt really like
When you
my
said
husband
we,
was
did
there
you
looking
mean
at me. I meant her.
you
and
met her?
I.
Yes, yeah.
And my husband was there, and my friends were there, and my family was there. But I felt really like, okay,
I felt the
I can
same
show
way,
myself
but that
to
like
you.
makes me
Yeah.
feel like stronger. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that. Like that's just a difference in different postpartums.
Now,
Like me, I
yeah.
was like, it's like me and these ones.
Yeah.
Like these is my soul entire life,
Yeah.
and that's where my anxiety stemmed
Well,
from because I wanted to just save
Yes.
them. So that's
Interestingly
there's
enough,
people
I
coming in your
felt that
step.
at the beginning,
Mhm.
with like I just expressed. But now I look back at journal entries, and I have a whole diary of like letters to Charlie.
yeah.
I write her in my good moments and in my bad moments. And the last one I wrote was like 8 months ago, and it was like, I'm so proud of us. We're doing this. Like,
Yeah.
So it's transformed. But I think for me personally, it wasn't like I felt alone because I was with her. I felt like it brought back sensitivity of feeling lonely as a child, feeling like I
Yeah.
didn't have both my parents. They were separated and married and divorced multiple
Yeah.
times. So I felt like in my head, like, this is what I do now. I'm alone now with my kid, but no, I'm with my husband. I need to share with him what I'm feeling. It's okay to share. I shared with my dad, who has come a long way in his 60-some years, and that was really hard for me because I felt like, and my mom and my sisters, you know, everyone thinks you should be so happy, but you'd be surprised.
Right.
The
If it
people that
wasn't for my
support you
mom,
and
I
understand.
wouldn't have made it. I don't think.
Tell us
The
why.
phone calls, because I needed someone to sit on the phone with me to listen to me breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And she'd be on there for like 45 minutes. And just on the other phone, she wouldn't say anything. And then she would like be like, "Are you okay?" And I'd be like, "My chest still hurts a little bit." She's like, "You're going to be okay." I'm like, "Okay." And then until it was all completely over, we just like would sit there. Or she would like remind me, take a bath, do some tea. She was really the person that like.
Did she go through any of that, or she was trying to be there for her daughter?
No, she didn't go through any of that. I do have.
Good question.
Sorry, Joe. My sister did go through different kinds of postpartum, and not what you were talking about, and not what I'm talking about. Her own postpartum.
Yes.
Totally.
And then I have other friends who went through their own postpartum. And it's all different for each person because each person has different triggers and there's different things in your life that sets you off. And I know that I did have a lot of friends who would look at their baby and be like, "You're fucking ruining my life."
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know why I'm laughing. So sorry.
I probably because
you
we can
said
relate.
you ruined my body.
Yes.
So that's another.
Oh my
We
God, of
looked at
course.
Malachi. This time around, both Amanda and I had Polyhydramnios where our second babies literally blew us up and ripped us up from the inside out. And this is not hereditary. This is not a typical thing. And we both had excess amniotic fluid. I had 10 extra pounds. I think Amanda had double that because she was at a 40.
My
and
numbers
I was
were
only at 20.
at 40.
And I was at a
38, 40.
And I was at 28. So
Do you know any of your fluid numbers?
Me? I was always low.
You were always low. So average is 16 to 20,
yeah.
right?
And I was
14 would be low. My girlfriend
I was
at
at
14.
28 and you
My
were
dude
at a
didn't tell me
38.
anything. He was just like, well,
Yeah, he's like,
looks
see you
good.
later.
Here you go.
Just slapped you on the ass.
love my I love them so much. They follow me on or on Facebook.
Who are your doctors?
My nurse and doctors,
Oh,
yes,
that's
I love
awesome.
them. All four of my kids, but they know that I'm like the extra special kind of person that needs like coddling. So he would like baby the hell out of me.
All right,
See,
ladies.
it's good that they know that,
I
though.
know.
That's
really
what makes a
good.
good doctor.
Yeah.
All
he
right,
was
so we
great.
got 5 minutes left. This is what I wanted
10
to
minutes.
Well, he gave us the 5 minute.
Well, I got to get out before we got to switch shows.
Oh, but
They
don't
gotta
we
start
have
at
you?
3.
You're
You weren't
gonna
even
get
ready.
it. I know. Okay, but on this note, ladies, out there, tell all the women what is a turning point that you need to call and ask for help. Like I really want for both
I
of
asked
you.
immediately. Immediately. I
What
asked
was
for help.
Okay, but
what
really
was your
fast.
feeling?
Really fast. I don't even see. I still to this day don't know if I had anything.
Well, then it
yeah.
didn't affect you to the point that it affected. It affected, from my
I
standpoint,
still have
my general
Like,
I
triggers
think,
where
I
I'm-
think personally, if it distresses you, if it
That's what I
distresses you for more than 2 to 3 weeks, you need to
And
either
what
be
is
talking to a
distress?
therapist. Distress, it's on your mind. It's a cloud hanging over you. It's something you feel like you have to personally push through by yourself every day. If it's something that's distressing you, that's taking over, having you react in different ways than you
You'll
feel like you
know.
wouldn't. You
Like,
need to ask
I
someone.
did
You need
feel
to seek
like those
different
kind of thoughts.
things.
Like I
I
did
felt-
feel like the end of the world was
Okay.
happening to me.
after Waylon, I felt. I don't even know. I told all three of you. I mean,
Yeah.
I just felt like I had PTSD. Like I would go to the grocery store
Yeah.
and I would have a glaze over my face because I was looking at couples. And you know what I was looking at? The fact that the woman looked like she was their mother and the husband was handsome. And I got so fucking pissed off and I was so upset at the fact that women go through everything,
I think-
everything, and it
Yeah.
ages us and it
Yes.
kills us.
Yeah.
And the husbands, they just look so handsome.
Yeah.
And then the lady, my favorite checkers would be like, "Hey, Amanda," and I'm like, "What?"
I think therapy can be even just discussing it with people and just being upfront with how you feel.
Yeah.
Just
I
saying
felt
out
like
loud
I
how
had
you
just gotten
feel.
back from war, and I had
Totally.
pure
It's
baby bliss.
traumatic.
Yeah,
Pure baby
that's
bliss.
true.
It had nothing to do with my children.
I know you had.
I was
the extreme.
terrified, and I didn't have it with Bowie because with Bowie I was like, "What the fuck?" All the
Yeah,
time.
You had
know
a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
stuff going on in that year.
It
so.
was a wild year, and I bounced back, and it wasn't even an issue or whatever. But I don't know. So there's a difference in pregnancies. So I still.
I was in the line at Target once, and I started to have a panic attack, and I called my mom, and I was like, "The lights are so bright, the music's so loud, I'm totally freaking out in here. I'm gonna die for sure in this line right here. I'm gonna die in Target. I hope there's a doctor near." And
Yeah.
I would always have those weird, unrational thinking,
If
is
you
there a
can't
doctor in the
find
store?
your
Can somebody-
anchor, if you can't find your anchor and really build on
Yeah.
what happened, what do you do when this happens? What do you
So
do when this thought?
identifying your triggers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
identifying your
okay.
triggers and being honest with the
My
way
trigger was
things
just
are
mornings
affecting.
in general.
Yeah, and that's
That's
fine. But
okay.
you
A
need
lot
to
of people
share
have
it
that
with
too.
someone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I feel like. Just be honest with people you feel safe with.
Yeah.
And if you're the lucky few, they will
Talk
be
about
there
it. Talk
to
about
comfort
it.
you.
Don't be afraid. Find one person
Yeah.
to talk
Listen
about
to
it
podcasts.
to.
Mom and
Oh
Mine.
yes, if
Vodka
you don't
Juice
have
Box.
anyone that's safe, listen to podcasts, research it.
We
You can
will
hear people
put-
talk all day
yeah.
long.
We
That's
will
a
put
good idea.
Heather's. We'll put Heather's recommendations on our website and on Instagram, so you guys can follow those
Yes.
podcasts.
The whole reason we started this podcast is because there's so
You
much
can
shit that
even look
happens
on
with having
Instagram
kids.
and hashtag postpartum, or there's like bring back postpartum. There's a few different hashtags you can hashtag that will lead
Bring
you
it
to
back.
people.
Where'd it
on-
go?
Can I ask both of you
attention, I
ladies
guess.
before we sign off? How are you doing today?
I feel fantastic today, personally. My husband has
Perfect.
done a great job at reaffirming me because we have set clear, written out guidelines of what I need.
Okay.
And I also am holding myself responsible for daily affirmations, mindset,
That's wonderful.
things I need to do, but it's every day. Every day I have to do it.
Are
or
you
it
allowing
engulfs
grace?
me like a,
Thank you.
grace with your partner, grace with yourself, grace with the people I work
That's so
with
hard for
and
me.
for.
Me too.
So
I don't
grace.
give Greg any
It's-
grace.
Man, I know I
Brian's
give it
fishing.
because I
He's
need
busy.
it.
I need grace
give
with
it because
myself,
No,
need
I
it.
know?
think grace
So.
for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
My
is one of
daughter's
the-
name is Charlie Grace.
I love
for
it.
no.
My daughter's
No.
Charlie too, and do you know
Yeah.
that having a girl is more likely to cause postpartum because you
Really?
crash in estrogen?
Oh, I believe that. They steal your youth and beauty. As you're pregnant, you can feel it.
Because
It's
I was
all
like,
gone. It's all gone. I don't have it.
that's what one of the million doctors told me. Because I was
See?
like, why is this happening
That's
to me? Like,
sci-
it was a girl.
scientific
Yeah,
proof.
how are you? How are
Yeah,
you
Jessica,
today?
how are
I
you
will
feeling?
always have anxiety because of the
PTSD?
PTSD from my brother.
Yes.
But I'm fine now. Like I told you, it literally, I woke up and it was like a cloud had lifted. And I just want people to know that there is going to be that
Yeah.
light or that moment. Maybe not how mine was, but in a different way for anybody
You're
else.
gonna be all right.
You're
gonna wake
be
up
okay.
and it's gonna be
gonna,
all right.
This is not
Look
how,
yourself
that was
in the
my
mirror.
fear is I
got
kept
it.
telling my mom, I'm never going to go back to normal. Like, literally
Right.
complete psychosis. Like, Greg's going to put me in the loony bin.
Oh.
Like, just panic.
I
And
would be like, go ahead, do it. You're gonna be stuck with these kids.
Don't leave me with these freaking kids, Bobby.
It's gonna be okay. That's the only thing that I could tell anybody is as long as you talk about it, it's gonna be okay.
Yes,
You're gonna
definitely,
make it.
definitely talk.
You're a
about
Your
it, no
badass
own
matter
bitch.
what.
way. Yes, you're
I
a
gotta
badass.
hear
You're a
that.
badass bitch. The shit is not gonna phase you. You fucking got it.
I want to say
Yes.
it all together right now. You're a
Badass
badass bitch.
This
The
shit
shit's
is
not
not
gonna
gonna phase
faze
you.
And you got this. Cheers, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melissa.